and teepee.
Okay, let's think critically about this, right? So it does seem obvious that maybe some people did come across there if they had the capabilities.
It's obvious to me and scientists who are way more well versed on the subject that Native Americans do descend from Siberians. Native Americans and their genes travel back to Siberia. It says Native Americans, not Native Alaskans, right? The closest known ancestor of today's Native American found in Siberia. Emphasis on today's. And the reason I say emphasis on today's Native Americans because ancient Americans look nothing like today's Native Americans. We finna look at this scientific study from July of 2003, early Holocene human skeletal remains from Santana do Riacho, Brazil, implications for the settlement of the New World. In this study, we compare the cranial morphology of several late Paleo-Indian skeletons uncovered at Santana do Riacho, central Brazil, with worldwide human cranial variation. We're going to jump down to the bottom. It says the first human activities in this rock shelter date back to the terminal Pleistocene, but the burials are bracketed between circa 8200 and 9500 years before present. The collection contains only 6 skulls well enough preserved to be measured. The Santana do Riacho late Paleo-Indians present a cranial morphology characterized by long and narrow neurocrania, low and narrow faces with low nasal apertures and orbits. The multivariate analysis showed that they exhibit strong morphological affinities with present-day Australians and Africans, showing no resemblance to recent Northern Asians and Native Americans. Now that's one study about a group of Paleo-Indians from 8200 to 9000 years before present. And as you can see, the scientists said that these skulls resembled Negroids, or as they said, people from Africa and Australia. Here's a more recent study done on entirely different, older remains. The discovery of a near-complete human skeleton in a watery cave in Mexico is helping scientists answer the question, who were the first Americans? The skull from the approximately 12,000-year-old skeleton looks markedly different from that of modern Native Americans, but DNA extracted from one of his teeth shares a distinctive genetic signature with them. The find, reported in the 16th May issue of the journal Science, sheds new light on the decades-long debate among archaeologists and anthropologists. It suggests that the earliest Americans and Native Americans share a single source population, that the Paleo-Americans represent an early population expands out of Beringia, the landmass that once connected Asia and North America. On the basis of genetics, modern Native Americans are thought to descend from Siberians who moved into eastern Beringia between 26,000 and 18,000 years ago and then spread southward. Despite widespread support for this idea, the ancestry of the earliest Americans is still debated because the facial features of the oldest American skeletons don't look much like those of modern Native Americans. This has led some researchers to suggest that the Americas were colonized by separate migration events from different parts of Eurasia. The Paleo-American skeletons have longer, narrow crania than the later Native Americans, and smaller, shorter faces, more closely resembling modern peoples of Africa, Australia, and the southern Pacific Rim. This has led to speculation that perhaps the first Americans and Native Americans came from different homelands, or migrated from Asia at different stages in their evolution. So as you can see at the end there, they're saying or because they don't know where these Paleo-Americans with the Negro features came from. They just know they exist. And they also know that today's Native Americans and ancient Paleo-Americans don't look anything alike. And scientists are already debating about this. So this isn't a new discussion whatsoever. So knowing that the oldest American skeletons look Negro and today's Native Americans don't, is it truly possible that they descend from the first Americans? And if today's Native Americans do descend from the first Americans, how could their morphology change from Negroid to Mongoloid? And why is it that Native Americans, Native Alaskans still share cultural similarities with Native Siberians? Also, why do all three groups look like one another?